This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I got some issue with the link.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Right. So, yesterday, right, in yesterday's session, we were about to start, right, first Python program. So, for that, we started thinking about what IDE, right, which will help us to, right, which will help us to edit and compile and execute the Python program. So, IDE should let us to writing or edit. So edit program. Once it's done, it will let us to compile the compile, and it will let us to execute the program. These three things will be done by the ID. So to do this entire environment, to do these three things, whatever environment is required, that will be integrated by the ID. Right. So one of them is called as what? PyCharm, right? A PyCharm ID. So we are going with that. So let me open this. And yesterday, right, I already show you, right, how to install it. Like you need to go to Google, right, like this, right. So PyCharm ID Community Edition download. We should go for only Community Edition. Like this is called as Professional Edition. This won't be stay in our computer forever. So this is a paid version actually. 1 month they will give for us free of cost. See, free 30 days trial. Once it is over, they will ask to pay for it, right? So we are the learners, we should not go for it. So for us, this version is there, PyCharm Community Edition, right? So free built on open source, right? Once you install it, right, it will stay in our computer forever. Okay, so this one you need to install. Okay, good, very good. Just once you download it, right, installation process is right, it is very easy one. It looks like like all other, right, softwares, right. So after installing, right, it appears for you like this, right, it appears for you like this. You need to go to, right, something called file, and you need to click on new project like this. So here you have to give some project name, and just you need to click on the project. So yeah, here, let's see here, you need to give some location name, so where you want to store all your programs. So once that is done, you need to click on create. You need to click on create, right? So when you click on create, right, it comes like this. So we have given, in place of Python project, we have named it as what? Python programs. We named it as Python programs, right? Then I said click create. So then it comes here. Okay, it will comes here. But after this, you need to right click on this. Okay, let me close this. Yes. So just click on that arrow here. Right. Again, you need to right click on this like this, and you need to create some Python package. Okay, you need to create some Python package. Let's create one thing for us. Let us say it is 5 p.m. Right, 5 p.m. Python full stack. Right, 5 p.m. Python full stack batch. Okay, that's it, right? This is how we are supposed to create it, right? So for better understanding, okay, that's it. So underscores are allowed. Okay, that's it. So a folder is created for us to store all our programs, right? To store all our programs, right? One folder is created. So let's right click on it, new. Here again, Python package, right? So Python package, right? So we are going to talk about what? Addresses and types. Addresses and types of variables. Okay, that's it, right? So now again, I'm right clicking on this Python file. variables. Program name is variable, right? So it will show you one option like this. Now here we created a file called variables.py. So it comes here like this. So here you need to start writing programs. Okay, good. So now see here, print entry, print, and so in a program, in any programming language, the code written by the programmer is called as what? Source code. In any programming language, the code written by the programmer is called as what? Source code. Source code contains what? Set of instructions. Source code contains what? Set of instructions. So can anyone please tell me how many instructions are there here? So this program, the source code contains how many instructions here?
Two instructions.
Only two instructions. Each line is one instruction. Each line is one instruction. Okay, very good. How do we write a Python program? If you want to write a Python program, we will use what? Some built-in functions. Next, sometimes we can use what? Programmer defined functions. Right. And we will use what? There is something called keywords, Python keywords. Okay, Python keywords. So we will use programs in Python with the help of what? Built-in functions we will use, programmer defined functions we will use, Python keywords we will use. Right. Still there are several other things. Okay, still there are several other things. So what are these Python keywords? These keywords will tell to the computer that these are the these are the components we created in our program according to the Python keywords. For example, see here, stem, root, bud, leaf, fruit. Tell me, these are the words, right? These words are reflecting what? These words are reflecting what? By looking at these words, we can say that these words are describing what? A plant, right? Right, it contains what? A plant. Plant contains what? It contains stem, it contains root, it contains bud, it contains leaf, it contains fruit, it contains flowers. Okay, very good. So, how you're able to recognize these words are reflecting a tree or plant? How computer will recognize that this is Python program, this is Java program, this is C program, this is C++ program? Through the keywords. Every programming language supports what? Keywords. So those keywords we will use inside our program. So by looking at the keywords that you are using inside your program, Python, right, a computer will recognize. Okay, computer will recognize that these are the Python programs. So how computer will understand Python program? First on top, who will be there? Computer will be there. Bottom to that, who will be there? Operating system will be there. Bottom to that, who will be there? Python software, right? Python software will be there. So Python software is nothing but what? Python virtual machine along with what? Interpreter. Okay, Python virtual machine along with what? Interpreter. This Python virtual machine will understand what? Python program. Yes. So this Python virtual machine will understand Python program. This is how, okay, this Python program contains what? This Python program contains what? All these things. So this contains what? Python keywords, this contains programmer defined functions, this contains built-in functions, it contains so many things. So your Python virtual machine is designed to understand what? Python syntax. What is syntax here? If you want to create a variable, you have to follow the syntax. If you want to create a function, you have to follow the syntax. If you want to create a right, a class or a program in Python, you have to follow the syntax. Because Python is strictly syntax oriented programming language, everything you need to construct according to the syntax. So syntax is, right, mandatory here. So if you develop anything in your program without following syntax, right, immediately that will be identified by the Python virtual machine. It will report some error called compilation error, right? So right, we are going to get into what errors if you're not following syntax to construct a variable, to construct a function, right? Then immediately it's going to report an error. So there will be two types of errors. We have compilation errors, we have runtime errors. So Python virtual machine can detect on compilation errors, it can detect on what, runtime errors. Okay, very good. So how these keywords are reflecting a plant, in the similar way Python supports some keywords, right? Let me show you what are the keywords supported by the Python programming language. So here, yeah, so Python keywords list. See, every language contains words and set of rules, means syntax, that would make a sentence meaningful, right? In Python programming language also there are set of predefined words called keywords, okay, called keywords, right, which along with the identifiers will form meaningful sentences which is used together. So Python keywords cannot be used as names of the variables, functions and classes. Okay, we will talk about that one later. So keywords in Python can also be called as what, reserved words. They cannot be used as a variable name, function name, right, or any other identifier name. Identifier means what? Right, variable names, function names, variable name, function name, right? Tomorrow we will create something called program. That program name, right, should be what? Programmer defined word. That is what? Programmer defined word. 1 minute. So where is this? One minute. Let us go for another block. Yes. See the keywords, all keywords here. There are fixed keywords that form the syntax. 1 minute. Control A, Control A. Yes, Control C. From today onwards, right, until end of the course, right, we are going to come across, right, all these keywords. Yes. So def is a keyword, class is a keyword, and written is also a keyword. So where these keywords will be used? In our Python programs, we will use it. Sir, do we need to use all the keywords in a single program? No, we need not use all the keywords in a single program. So different programs will come up with what? Different keywords. Okay, so different keywords. Okay, that's it, right? So these are all the keywords supported by Python programming language. By looking at the keywords, if you want to write a Python program, so we will use some of them. So by looking at that, by looking at the keywords, right, our computer will understand, right? Our computer will understand that these are the Python keywords, and right here, things are constructed according to the Python syntax. Okay, things are constructed according to the Python syntax. Okay, so when time come, we will use all of them one by one. Okay, good. So as of now in our program there are only two instructions. So here what is this print here? Print is called as built-in function. Yes, print is called as what? Built-in function used to display outputs on console or monitor, right? Console or monitor from Python program. See, so here print is what? One of the built-in functions. While writing Python programs, we will use so many built-in functions because Python supports very rich, right, built-in functions. Okay, Python supports very rich built-in functions. So print is a built-in function used to display what? Output onto the console or monitor from Python program. Honestly speaking, print is a data transfer function. Right, what is data here? Entry is what? It's a sequence of characters, string data. So print is transferring this data from Python program onto where? Onto the console or monitor. Where is the console or monitor? That will come now. So print function will have connection with what? Console or monitor, which is output device. Okay, so whatever you are seeing here, this is called as what? Console or monitor. This place is what? Console or monitor. So where our output will be displayed. Okay, good. Who has transferred data? Print function. From where to where? From where to where it transferred data? From Python program onto the console or monitor, it transferred the data. Okay, fine. Next one. So now onwards, right? If you want to display output onto the console or monitor, we have to use what? Print function. By using print function, we can display data in different formats. Like a tabular data we can display, right? We can display what? Tabular data. For example, serial number, student, right? Student ID. Okay, student ID, student name. Okay, right? Student ID, student name, right? Student gender. Okay, right? Student gender. Okay, like that, right? Here, right? So serial number 1 will come, 2 will come, 3 will come, right? Here IDs will come, like that. Here names will come, but here genders will come. So by using print, you can print any type of data. So tabular data you can print, right? Normal data you can print. You can print some integer data. Python supports totally how many types of data? Python supports totally 14 types of data. Those 14 types of data can be printed by the print function. So if there is a need of displaying a table, right, like this, right, tomorrow, so we will learn that also. Okay, we will learn that also. Okay, how to display data in a tabular form, right? We will learn that also. Because our Python program is going to communicate with the database tomorrow. In tomorrow, we will store data in a database in the form of what? Tables. Where table contains what? Columns. Okay, tables contains columns, right? So student ID is a column, student name is a column, student gender is a column. So these are going to be the column names in the database. Okay, that's where we will learn that, right? We'll get chance to learn, right, how to print data in tabular form also. I will teach you when time comes, not now. Okay, good, right? So now x equals to some 12 it is. X equals to 12. So your program contains what? What is your program? Address and types of variables. Within that, there is a program called variables.py. So variable.py program contains what? Contains what? Variable which is storing value 12. So here, see here, equals is called as what? Assignment operator. Equals is called as assignment operator, which is letting us to give value 12 to the variable x, right? You're able to give value x to the variable with the help of what? Assignment operator. You're able to give value 12 to the variable x with the help of what? Assignment operator. So we will assign values to the variables by using what? Assignment operator. Okay, fine. We have given value 12. So if a who has to execute the value variable x, some function has to execute it, right? Some function has to execute it. So value of variable x is, okay, value of variable x is, right, how much? This x. Okay, if this function, from where this function can, when this function will be executed, at a runtime or execution time, this function will be executed. So after writing this program, what I will say, run variables, right? When I'm saying the word run variable means what? I'm asking Python virtual machine to accept my program called variables.py for execution. You're clicking on this run variables option means what? You are clicking on it means what? You are asking, yes. But you're clicking on this run variable means what? You're asking Python virtual machine to accept this program called variables.py for execution. So what virtual machine will do? Python virtual machine will, right, will load your program from where? From a hard disk to RAM where Python virtual machine is running. So in this program, how many variables are there? There is only one variable. How much data it is storing? Value 12 it is storing. Now this 12 will be converted into zeros and ones, right? This 12 will be converted into zeros and ones. So how many zeros and ones will come, right? With that, it will allocate some memory for it, whatever it is, right? Let us say something like this, right? So on whose name this memory will be allocated? On variable x. Now from that memory, who will access? Print function will access. So this memory was reserved for what type of data? This memory was reserved for integer type of data. This memory is reserved for storing which value? Value 12. In the program it is 12, but in the computer memory it is different. It is a combination of zeros and ones. Where this memory is allocated? At one unique address. One unique address, this memory is allocated. Can we see that unique address? For that, there is another built-in function called id. Can we know the type? To know the type, there is a built-in function called a type. So I told you, right, Python supports several built-in functions. One is print function, other is type function. The type function will give you the type of the, right, type of the x. Variable x is storing what type of data, it type function will give that, right? And what is the address, at which address memory was reserved for this, that will be given by the id function. How much memory was allocated, right? For that also there is a built-in function. Once we enter into the subject, there we will see it, how much memory is consumed by, right, value 12. Okay, so for that also there is a built-in function. Okay, now to know that, see, print. So if you want to see the type, so type of x. Okay, so this is what built-in function. So if you want to display the type on the screen, on the console or monitor, I see. So type of object x is. So within the computer memory, x is called as what? Object. Object means what? It's a memory allocation. So x is, memory was reserved on the name of the x. So x will points to that object. Okay, right, like this. Next one. Okay, this will give us the type, which type it is, right? See, type of object x is class x type. Ignore about the class. So what is its type? Int type. So the type of x is what? Int type. Means what? Within the computer memory, memory was reserved for storing what? Which type value? Integer type value. What was that value? 12. Okay, good, right. And at which address memory was reserved? Print address at which memory was reserved for storing, reserved for storing value of variable x is, so id of x it is, right? That's it. So this will give us the address. Now let me run this. So address at which memory was reserved for storing value of variable x is how much? Right, this one. Okay, right. So this is the, at this address memory was reserved for the variable x within the computer memory. This is one unique location. Computer memories use space. Within that space, at this location, memory was reserved for the variable x. And the name of x sum is there. Some binary bits will be allocated for storing the value of variable x. And what is the type of that object? Type of object x is what? Int type. Okay, type of object is what? Int type. And what is the value of it? For which value memory is reserved in the computer memory? For value 12. So print will take value in terms of zeros and ones from the computer memory. It converts that zeros and ones into again integer that will be given to us. Right. Print will access from the computer memory location. Right. It converts that into number and it will give us. Because as a programmer, we can't understand the zeros and ones. That's where it is converting and it is giving to us. Okay, it is giving to us. Right. Yeah. So
So this is a unique number for every unique variable,
ah,
right?
yes, definitely. It is going to be address of each variable is going to be unique. I will show you. I will show you
Okay.
that all. So y equals to 2.3. Y equals to 2.3. So for this, let us check the type. Control V. Sorry. Control V. Let's see type of object y is. Type of object y is type of y, and address at which memory was reserved for storing value of variable y is, so id of y, and value of variable y is. Okay, now let us run this. Now check the address. See, in above case type is what? Integer type. In this case type is what? Float type. Okay, float type, right? So in above case address is what? Address of variable x is what? Something. Address of variable y is what? Something. Check it. So are they same or different? Different. So the address of each variable that you will create inside your program must and should be unique. It won't match with it. You may have wondered, sir, I want to keep the same value, sir. What will be the situation? Control C, Control V. Now see, so instead of right x, right, G for zebra, I am taking the same value I am taking. So type of object G is. So this is what type of G. So address at which memory was reserved for storing value of variable G is. Right, ID of, right, G it is, right. And the print value of, right, yes, value of variable Z is, right, Z it is. Okay, that's it, right. Now see, let us run this. Now see the addresses. So these are the addresses given for at three different locations, right? So look at the addresses. They are same or common for anything. So check this. These two are same.
Both the same. Yes.
So my question is why both are same?
I think like 12 is the same number when it converts to bits, and it is like same bits for like 12 of like both the 12s, I guess so.
So
So it will be
so my question is only one time memory was reserved for storing value 12 means only one object was created or two different objects were created at two different locations.
I think only one object is created
So
with
why it is
12
creating only one object?
because of the same number, because of the same value.
Because of the same value. So memory was not reserved, right? Okay, memory was not, so what is happening here? Right, it is saving what computer memory rights for the sake of same value. If it, if it is Java, for value 12, one time memory will be allocated, for another value 12, memory will be allocated one more time. So computer memory will be wasted. So Python is Python is very good at what memory management. Python always try to save the computer memory. It will never waste the computer memory. Right, computer will never waste. Right, computer Python will never waste the computer memory. That's where, right, for the sake of value, first time object is created, right? X equals to 12 for the first time. So whenever you want to create object with the same data again, right, then it won't create. Instead, it will return the already created object. That it return the already created object means what here? Two different reference variables are pointing to the same object. Your X is pointing to that. Your variable G is pointing to that. So here what is there? 12. So it is there in the form of 12, or 12 is there in the form of zeros and ones. 12 is there in the form of zeros and ones. So two different reference variables are pointing, right? What is the reference variable within the computer memory? Right, within the computer, yeah. When memory is reserved for storing a value, right, which is stored through the variable. So that memory allocation is called as object. To refer that object, we will use something called what? Reference variables or object names. So in the point of computer memory, so what will be used to refer or point to the object? Right, data present inside object, reference variable, because object will be reserved on the name of the object is reserved in the name of the variables. Okay, object will be reserved on
Oh,
the name of the variables.
yeah, one question. So
Please.
if we take another any IDE server and if we try to do the same thing, the number which we got like 14073 and 1396, it will be same, right? Or-
No. These things may change. Okay,
Okay,
they may change. So here, who will maintain this? Python virtual machine will maintain these indexes.
okay, okay,
So internally, Python virtual machine will maintain these indexes. So that will change. How that will be changed? With the help of Python virtual machine and operating system together will decide these indexes.
okay,
Okay. So for your
got
better understanding, I will do one thing. I will copy paste the program. Control C. Let's move on to Google. Let's try it on online compile, online interpreter. So Python online interpreter. Yes. Let us see how address will up, right? Address will be, generated here. Yeah. So value of it, right? Okay, check it
yeah,
addresses.
yeah, it's different and same for both.
Uh, yeah, it's different, right?
Yeah. So bits and bytes will be same, but the number which we are displaying on the console will be different, right?
The address might change.
Yeah, got it.
So addresses may be changed, right? So that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying, right? Operating system that we are using and virtual machine that we are using together will decide it.
yeah,
So
got it.
Python virtual machine will maintain set of indexes like this. Whenever you create one object in the computer memory, immediately it will associate one index to that object. So for the first time when you create X object, right, Python virtual machine will associate with that. For the second time when you're creating y, right, Python virtual machine will associate this index to that. And when it comes to here, instead of creating one more, right, already created one will be reused. Forward G, right, for G. Okay, good, very good. So let's go back. Yes. Okay, so fine. So here we are storing what? We are storing data through variables. We are storing data through variables. So thing here is what? We need to process data, right? We need to process data stored through the variables. Okay, so Python program contains what? Variables. Python program contains what? Variables. What are the variables you are using here? X is a variable, Y is a variable, G is a variable. Wherever variable is storing what? Data. Which data it is? It can be any type of data. It can be integer, it can be decimal, it can be any of the 14 types of data supported by Python programming language. So what variable contains, sorry, what program contains? Program contains variables, and the program contains what? Functions. See, x is what? X equals to 12 is what? X equals to, right, x equals to 12. X is storing what? Data. Now data stored through the variable will be operated by whom? By the functions. Type function is accessing data of the variable x. Print function is accessing data of the variable x. ID function is accessing data of the variable x. So one day I told you program contains what? Two things, variable and function or method. Variables will be used for storing data, and data stored through the variable will be operated by what? Function or methods. Okay, data stored through the variable will be operated by function or methods. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, that's it, right? Okay, good, right. Right. So now we are going to move towards. So you understood that we are storing data through a variable. Now to process data stored through the variables. Okay, you are believing that variables will be used for storing the data. So to process the data, there are four components. Four components will be used to process data stored through the variables. Four components will be used to process data stored through the variables. So honestly speaking, how we will operate data stored through the variables? See how I am operating data stored through the variables with the name, through the name of the variable, right? Type function is accessing data stored through the variable through name of it. ID function is accessing data stored through the variable through its name. Print is accessing data stored through the variable through what? Its name. So why do we store data in a variable? You can reuse the variable in the remaining part of the program. Okay, so in interviews, right, people will ask you like this: why we need to store data? Why we need to store data in a variable? So we will store data in a variable to reuse that data in the remaining part of the, right, program. For example, what is the remaining part of the program for x? Here this is, see, print function. So you are reusing x, you are reusing x, you are reusing x. Today it is a small program, it is. Tomorrow in lengthy programs, right, where data stored through the variable will be what? Reused in the remaining part of the programs. So you are storing data into a variable means what? You are going to reuse the data again and again through the variable name. Okay, again and again through the variable name. Okay, fine. Now, so data stored through the variable. Okay, data stored through the variable will, right, so to access data stored through the variable, we will use something called data processing components. Data processing components. What are the data processing components? One is operators, second one is conditional statements, Conditional statements. Third one is loops. Fourth one is what? Functions. Yes. So these four things are called as what? Data processing components or data processing elements. Data processing components or data processing elements, and these will be used to process data stored through the variables. Okay, so if anyone wants to become a best programmer, if anyone wants to become a best programmer, but if anyone wants to become best programmer, they must and should good at write these four components. So without having command on these four things, becoming or trying to become a best programmer, it is waste of effort, right? It is waste of effort. Why? Python will be used for Python along with the Django framework, or Python along with the Flask framework will be used for developing what? Web applications. So nowadays a web application means what? It is going to handle what? Huge amounts of data. So we have to process that data. Okay, we have to process that data. So to process data, we need to have what? Data processing components. Okay, we need to have data processing components. So what are the data processing components here? Operators, conditional statements, loops, and functions. So functions contains loops, loops contains conditional statement contains what? Operators. Right, conditional statement contains operator. That's where, so if someone trying to, this is the common criteria across any programming language. If you look at C, these four things will be there. If you look at C++, these four things will be there. If you look at Java, these four things will be there. In Python.NET, these four things will be there. Tomorrow, if you go for Oracle database, there also these things will be there. Because Oracle database, right? Oracle or Postgres SQL, right? Postgres SQL or MySQL or SQLite or Oracle SQL, these are all what? Databases. So they contains what? Data. On the data we need to apply what? Conditions, or we need to compare one value with another value. So that will be taken care by the operators, right? So yes, even Oracle also contains this. Okay, Oracle contains this, and every programming language contains this. Okay, good. So we have to be good at right these four concepts to become a best programmers. Okay, kids. So now we are going to start with what? Operators concepts. Yes, so operators. Okay, kids. So what is an operator? What is an operator? See, right. An operator is a special symbol used to perform operation on operands. Yes. An operator is a special symbol. An operator is a special symbol used to perform operation on what? Operands. Okay, so what are the operand here? What are the operand here? See. So between them, I'm using some special symbol called plus. So 2 plus 7. Okay, 2 plus 7. So here plus is called as what? Operator. Plus is called as a operator. So it will be used to perform operation on what? Operands. What are the operands here? What are the operands here? 2 and 7 are called as what? Operands. What are these 2 and 7? Values as operands. Right, 2 and 7 are what? Values. So values as operands. And plus is what? Operator. When plus is applied on operands, what will happen? Some operation will happen, some result will be generated. In the next case, see, x equals to 3, y equals to, right, 5, g equals to x times y. Okay, x times y. Now again see here. So star is what? A special symbol, which is operator, right? Which is operator. X and Y are what? Variables as operands this time. Variables as operands. Okay, so star is what? Operator. X and Y are what? Variables as operands. So an operand can be what? In general, an operand in programming languages, operands in general always are variables. Okay, operands always are what? Variables. So X and Y are called as what? Variables which are acting as operands here, and the star is acting as what? Operator. So thus an operand can be a, so an operand can be a value, right? Value like what? 2 comma 7, right? Or it can be, a variable. It can be a variable. So what are the variables here? X, Y, comma Z. Okay, right. So an operand can be a value or it can be a variable like this. Okay, so what are the types of operators supported by Python programming language? What are the types of operators supported by Python programming language? Python supports various types of operators. Almost 7 types of operators are supported by Python programming language. Right. So what are those? See here. To perform arithmetic operations. To perform arithmetic operations, right? We will use, operators like plus, comma minus, comma multiplication, right? Products. Normal division operator, floor division operator, modulus division operator. Okay, so modulus division operator, normal division operator, right? Like this. And power operator. There is something called power operator. Next, relational operators. So relational or comparison operators, they will be used for comparing one operand with what? Another operand. Okay, one operand with another operand. So not equals. Next one, third one, logical operators. So there are some logical operators in Python which are called as AND operator, OR operator, NOT operator. These three are called as what? Logical operators. Next one is assignment operators. Okay, assignment operators, right? So plus equals, minus equals, star equals, okay, plus equals, minus equals, star equals, slash equals, floor division equals, normal division equals, single slash means what? Normal division equals, double slash means floor division equals. Next one, modulus division equals. Okay, these are called as what? Assignment operators. Next, the fifth one is, right? Fifth one is this one, like membership operators. Okay, membership operators. Right, what are the membership operators? In comma not in are called as membership operators. And the sixth one is identity operators. Is comma is not. So these are called as identity operators. And the seventh one is bitwise operators. So we will convert a number into zeros and ones, and on that we can perform arithmetic, addition, right, subtraction, division, product, multiplication. So for that, left shift bitwise operator, right shift bitwise operator, AND operator, NOT operator, like this, right? OR operator, okay, like this, right? So totally, yeah. So Python types of operators, supported by Python. Yes. So Python supports totally seven types of operators. Python supports totally seven types of operators. Okay, good. So yeah, please take this picture. Right, done. Okay, right. Okay, so we're going to start with what? We're going to start with what? Operators as data processing, right, components. But after that, conditional statement. So within the conditional statement, we will use these operators. Within the loops, we will use these operators. So operators plus conditional statement together will be used inside loops. And operators conditional statements loops, right, together will be used inside functions, where functions will be used to process the data. So in our web application development, so web application is what? It's a collection of programs. Each program contains what? A collection of functions. Why do we define a function in the web application development? We will define a function in the web application development to provide some service logic. Service logic means what? It is nothing but a data processing logic it is. So function contains what? Business logic or service logic, means data processing logic it contains. To process a given set of data, to process a given set of data, what we need to apply what? This data processing components like operators, conditional statements, loops, right? Loops we need to apply, right? These three things we need to apply within the function. Okay, so we'll see more things about it in the next class. Okay, so for today, class done for today. Yeah, Python full stack 7 it is. Okay, so for today, class done. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Right, if no doubts, you can leave. Right, we'll see rest of things in tomorrow class. Okay, so any doubts?
Oh, no, Sudhakar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vinit. Thank you, Vinit. Thank you, Jagadish. Thank you, Ashim. Thank you, Pramod.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in tomorrow class.